What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I'll be reviewing yet another beer from Rogue Ales, and they are headquartered in Newport, Oregon, and this is their Santa's Private Reserve, the 2023 release. So they're calling this one a Toffee Chocolate Stout, and it also says stout with natural flavors. It comes in at 6.5% alcohol by volume, 20 IBUs at the time of review. This can is just over 3.5 months old. So despite the holiday season being officially over, I do have a couple holiday themed beers that I still have to get to, and this is one of them. I actually picked this up as a shelfie beer for the month of January 2024, and I'm pretty excited about it because I've had a couple prior vintages of Santa's Private Reserve. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think, I want to say every single year, but I think most years this is a completely different beer. Like, I don't think they just slightly tweak the recipe, because I remember, I want to say back in like the mid 2010s, I had like a Belgian strong dark ale version of this. I know they came out, I think, with a brown ale one year. So I think this changes most years, but if somebody knows for sure, please post in the comment section. I think also it's like holiday themed, like the ingredients when they do change up the recipe in the beer itself. So anyway, yeah, not much more to say about it. They're going for a Toffee Chocolate Stout. They have a huge like paragraph here that maybe I'll read at the end if I remember. If not, it's kind of like a silly kind of story. It doesn't really talk too much about the beer itself. So yeah, we're gonna crack this one open, get in the glass, and see what's going on. Now I want to mention that a good friend of mine and fellow beer tuber, Dan, aka the Western Canadian Reviewer, he actually reviewed this one as part of his 25 Drunken Days of December. Now, he's Canadian, obviously, based on his channel name, and he did like a big advent calendar, and unfortunately, his beer was infected. He did not enjoy it, and he did mention to me that the, I'm pretty sure he said the can on date was different than the one I have. So we'll see if mine is infected or if it's fine. I haven't heard any other reports, but to be honest with you, I don't know anybody else who really has had this one. So it is what it is. Anyway, that looks like, hold it up to light. This looks like a Dr. Pepper, Coca-Cola, root beer, some kind of dark soda pop. So yeah, it has like a deep brown color. On camera, it's gonna look pitch black. Has about a 2-finger, almost 3-finger, very, I would call it, yeah, toffee looking head. That has like a toffee look to it. It definitely has like a deeper tan, kind of darker khaki look to it. A little bit of alcohol, like 6.5%. You really don't expect that. It looks quite creamy, the head. Again, hold it up to the light. Yeah, there's a little bit of like a ruby red, darker brown at the bottom here, or even lighter brown. But yeah, I mean, it looks, if you're going to say, hey, man, there is a Toffee Chocolate Stout, I'd be like, yeah, sure, why not? So let's get a nose here. Toffee all day, holy shit. It smells like a candied toffee, right? Like if you have like a Score Heath Bar or something in that realm, right? It definitely comes off as candied. Sweeter milk chocolate too. Yeah, this smells like a melted down like Score Bar or Heath Bar. Really picking up on no infection here in the nose, so hopefully my can is all right. But yeah, sweeter milk chocolate. There's a little slight like roast from the malt, but it just smells like chocolate covered toffee. Maybe a slight hint of like a dark cherry. Yeah, roasty, toasty, milk chocolate, toffee, really not getting any coffee, not very complex in the nose. But it smells exactly how it should based on what they're describing this as, a Toffee Chocolate Stout. Yeah. Smells good. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. So happy to report that my can is not infected. However, the nose is so substantially better than the taste, it's kind of mind-blowing. I will say body and mouthfeel are pretty fantastic for 6.5%. Buying this, higher side of medium. There's a little bit of heft here. It's not like super thin and watery or anything. Maybe on the back of the palate, it gets a little bit watery, like kind of thins out. I'd say medium, touch over medium body. Fine, 6.5%. I'm good with it. The mouthfeel, there's a mild to moderate carbonation, but this is a little bit softer than anticipated. And it has a smooth, creamy like sensation on the palate. So body and mouthfeel right off the rip, first couple sips. Best thing about this beer in the taste. The problem this beer is having for me personally is that the nose was exactly what I was hoping for based on how they're describing this one and what they're calling this one. It smelled like a Heath or a Score bar or some kind of like chocolate covered toffee. It wasn't all that complex. There's a couple different notes, a little bit of roasted malt. However, in the taste, it's more beer-like. There is a decent, solid, firm roasted malt right at the front of the palate. And the chocolate is on the palate is a little bit more like baker's chocolate, or like, let's say like a 30 or 40% cacao bar. So a little bit of sweetness, but not quite getting to like a sweet dark chocolate. There is a little bit of toffee, and I'd say like caramel, maybe a touch of like a butterscotch, those kind of caramelized sugars, maybe brown sugar. But it's all very mild and subdued. As it passes through, those flavors kind of continue on. And it's like someone took a chocolate covered toffee bar, or again, a Heath or a Score bar, and kind of somehow muted the flavors by like 50% in the taste. That's what it is from front to back. On the finish, there's a very slight, I'd say mild bitterness, very slight dryness. This is a bit sweeter overall, and I anticipated it being sweeter based on the name of it. Here's the thing. It's not infected. There's nothing wrong with it. I don't dislike it at all. It's actually fine. But this is a very tame toffee chocolate stout. And I get it. It's 6.5%. I'm not looking for flavors that are going to rival something that's an imperial stout at 10%. It's just the nose kind of set me up for disappointment, very akin to like when I get a double dry hopped or triple dry hopped hop forward beer. Let's say I have this awesome triple dry hop double IPA, and then the nose is immaculate, and then I taste it and I'm like, just kind of set me up for disappointment. That's what happened here. In the nose, fantastic. In the taste, solid. And that's kind of where it is. Like I said, this is one of those beers, and I very rarely say this about darker beers and non like hazy / New England hop forward beers. But this is a beer that I would drink just because of the body and mouthfeel. I think the body and mouthfeel are just fantastic for a 6.5% stout of any kind. So I like it from that aspect. It's just, the taste is just, it's fine. 6%, 6.5%, you can't taste it. It's fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with this. I'm very happy mine wasn't affected. Dan, that sucks that yours was. But if this was what you were going to get, I don't think, I mean, obviously you don't want your beer infected, but I don't want to say you're not missing out on much, because maybe you would really like this one. Just for me, it's not all that great. It's just solid, decent, good, but not great. So Rogue, their Santa's Private Reserve, the 2023 release. I have absolutely no issues whatsoever given this one right here. We'll go low 3.75. I'll go 3.7. It's the best I can do. Without that body and mouthfeel, this is like a 3.5 at best. Again, it's nothing that's offensive. It's nothing that's, I don't think as long as your can isn't infected, I don't think you would hate this one. I just think you'd be kind of disappointed, like I am to some degree here. The nose just set it up for disappointment, and that happens. Price point availability. This is where it goes a little bit wonky for me. It's always been this way. Ever since I started drinking Rogue back in the early 2010s, they've always been more expensive when it comes to like West Coast beers here in the Buffalo, New York area. They were always more expensive than your Lagunitas and even your Firestone Walkers, your Stones, all those breweries that were distributing here. This can was $4.49 for 6.5% Toffee Chocolate Stout. It's a bit pricey in 4-packs. For that price, this was probably, because most of the bottle shops I go to, they jack up the price a little bit per can. So this is probably like $16 4-pack. I would never pay that again. Would I pay it again to try if I never had it before? Yeah, I mean, I did. I bought it for $4.49 and I tried it out. So if you see it for $4.49, I couldn't recommend it at that price. If you can get it for around like $3 or $3.50, sure. But your mileage will depend on where you are located, and availability is Rogue. I have no idea. We sometimes see some different Rogue stuff here. We don't get a lot of their year-round or like core offerings, but we do see a lot of seasonals here in the Buffalo, New York area. So if you see Rogue in your area, this may or may not show up. If they have a beer finder on the website, go check out the beer finder. More of the beer finders, shout out to Chaz, viewer of the channel, more of the beer finders, he would agree with this. He mentioned this recently, but more of the beer finders are a little bit more accurate nowadays, at least in my experience. When I go to different websites, usually they're spot on at this point, and they used to be hit or miss. So definitely do that if you want to check out this one. If you've had this one before, post in the comment section. Was your can infected? Was it not infected? If it was infected, obviously you probably didn't enjoy it, but if it wasn't, did you enjoy it? Those are the conversations I like having, so post in the comment section. If you will, I was just going to go into Dusty Rhodes. If you will, daddy, Dusty Rhodes isn't here. Not even in spirit, because I'm terrible at what I do in general. But anyway, appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.